Yeah. Who is here? We got one person.
I'm a truckin'
I'm a trucking.
across the USA.
Yeah. Across Las Vegas. Suzanne. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Drink water and get ready and stay inside, please. It's too hot. Actually, here in Las Vegas, we are having a cooling trend where, believe me, yesterday's high I think might have been 105. And the evenings are actually gonna. It was a nice, cool evening. First time we've had a nice evening in almost a month. Tonight, I don't. The high is only supposed to be 96. It's not even supposed to break 100 today, and the overnight low is supposed to be 76. I'm gonna have to break out my sweaters. Let me go get my toast real quick. I'll be right back. It's a English muffin, actually. So I'm quite happy about that, about the weather situation. It's been a little rainy, uh, and so that brings the humidity up. And I don't. And while it's raining, and the temperatures are kind of cool, then the humidity it doesn't feel too bad. But then as soon as if the clouds start to break away, and it starts getting hot again, and it starts getting around 100 degrees, but the humidity is still sort of lingering because there's still clouds in the air and all that kind of stuff. Then it starts getting kind of sticky, kind of grody. Um, but yeah, so we got a little cooling trend. And it's been really nice. Last night, I don't know if you saw my video I posted about the watching the airplanes, and I was actually I had just come out of the Barbie movie last night. I didn't do my Ubering, but I took a night off, and and but my God, that movie was after midnight, so I went ahead and right there in the same kind of facility there is where the Tesla, they have this Tesla charger there. So I went ahead and went over and charged, and I was watching the airplanes go by, and it was pretty cool. Just trying to see. Why can't I see? Oh, here we go. My current live stream. Okay. Looks like I'm on. Okay, so we're on. And I was watching the airplanes, and I mean, it's the first night in a long, long time where I actually was out walking around, and it felt really nice. I mean, it was still in the upper 80s or whatever, but the breeze actually felt kind of cool, Um, the breezes we've been getting lately have been like hot breezes, but almost like like a blow dryer blowing in your face or something. You set on hot. Just finishing up my breakfast. But anyhow, in a little bit here, in a little bit, I'm going to get some more people in. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the Barbie movie. I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible, because I know that there are people out there who still haven't seen the movie. So likewise in the chat, if anyone wants to talk about Barbie movie, let's do that with, as spoiler free as possible. But I guess it's done incredibly well. It's been, I think number one at the box office. Really strong opening. Hey, Kimchi. Kimchi, thanks for being here. Kimchi says, I haven't seen it, don't care. Laughing out loud. Okay, well, look. Well, I'll talk about it. In a little bit. I'm just waiting for. Actually, I'm waiting to see if my moderator will get in here because I know she wanted to. She wanted to know what I thought about the movie. I don't know if Jolie is. She might be busy with stuff. So, anyhow, this Barbie movie, just maybe, I don't know, have you noticed it in your hometown? That, well, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening while you're doing your cleaning. I'm doing a live stream while I'm eating. So, you know, who says you can't multitask, right? Who says guys can't multitask? I can eat and do a live stream. But, and I can go make myself some coffee. But this Barbie movie is really become like a phenomenon. Phenomenon. Boom, 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 boom. Phenomenon. I see women and, you know, young ladies and girls. They're wearing. I mean, there's just been this real. I see they're wearing pink for the Barbie movie. Now, the other day I saw 3 in Las Vegas. There are lots of weddings here. People come here to get married. And I saw these 3 young ladies. They were probably in their 20s, mid-20s or something. And they were all kind of wearing matching kind of pink dresses. Something you might see at a wedding, right? I mean, they were nice dresses. And I thought, my first thought was, oh, they must have just got out of a wedding. They must have been the bridesmaids or something. And but then but I'm not sure because I've been seeing so many women and girls and, you know, young ladies wearing pink. And then when I went to the movie last night, the movie, one of the showings had just gotten out of Barbie. I'm pretty sure it was Barbie because almost all of the girls and young ladies and women were wearing pink. Pink dresses, pink shirts, pink shorts, whatever. So this movie has, I guess, has made everyone want to wear pink. All the girls anyhow, and the women. And then with the movie I went into, again, it was right in the row I was sitting. There was a whole bunch of girls and young ladies wearing pink dresses and stuff. So this is the thing. And they were like, during the movie, you know how sometimes people get into it and they'll clap or they'll say something. I mean, there were points in the movie where it was like, I guess it was like this rallying cry or something. It was like they were, I mean, it was very enthusiastic about some of the points that were being made, I guess. And I think me as a guy, I just had to, kind of just sit back and go, okay, this is for the ladies, or whatever. I mean, this is how they. I guess I was getting a real good education on how women feel, in a way. I mean, the movie does bring up all these points of things that have been going on about how women have been treated since the caveman days, basically. You know? And that we... Oh, shoot. Oh, boy. I just spilled my coffee. A little bit. I meant to put a lid on that. I forgot. Here's my lid. But Kimchi says everyone under 60 has grown up with Barbies. Every single one of us. Yes, and it's huge, and I guess that's why it's such a huge movie. And okay, this is, I don't think this is a spoiler alert or a spoiler. Just during the end credits, there aren't any jumps. What do you call them? Jump scenes or whatever. But they do show kind of just some of the Barbies from over the years, right? And it was kind of interesting to watch that. But every, especially little girl, and I don't mean to make this just a, where little boys can't play with dolls or with Barbies, but when I was growing up, it was just almost all girls. But I had G.I. Joes, and I had this is when they were still like 12 inches tall. They weren't like the little G.I. Joes that they made later. Hey, there's One-Eyed Cat. Thanks for jumping in. One-Eyed Cat says, that's why we can't have nice things, John. How's it going? How's it going with you, One-Eyed Cat? So I had G.I. Joes, and I never owned a Barbie, okay? But somehow I remember I got a hold of a Barbie. I think it was my cousin had left a Barbie, one of my girl cousins. And they were, I think it was like Nurse Barbie. And I only had two G.I. Joes for some reason. I only had two. And they were very different looking. And I would make, but I had a whole bunch of gear. I had all this kind of gear for my G.I. Joes. And I would make, like my two G.I. Joes would go out on these missions. And since I didn't have other G.I. Joes for them to fight, I was always sort of this imaginary thing of them going out and going in a battle or something. Or sometimes I would pit them against each other, I think, or whatever. But they would get injured and wounded. And so I had this Nurse Barbie, and she would fix them up. She'd patch them up. And there was a little love triangle thing going there too. I think there was some jealousy between the two G.I. Joes because they both, had the hots for her. But that's just the way it goes. When there's only one Barbie and there's two G.I. Joes, I guess there's going to be some tension, right? But somehow I remember I had that for a while, and then my cousin came and got her, scooped up her Barbie, and then I was like, well, I need my nurse. So then my guys were left kind of high and dry. They didn't have a nurse. They didn't have a potential, girlfriend or whatever. So they just had to, pack their own first aid kit and learn how to patch themselves up. One class says, working on new floors in my 62 Valiant. A couple 3 sections made, ready to attach permanently tomorrow. Oh, 62 Valiant. Classic. Classic automobile. What color is the Valiant? I'm gonna guess it's white or maybe like a pearl white. Were the old floors kind of rusted out or something? What happened to the floors? Kind of interesting. So the Barbie movie, appliance white. How did I know that it was going to be white? I guess when I think of it was a Plymouth Valiant, right? I guess a lot of them were white. In the old days, you didn't have a lot of color choices. Floors were patched twice. Well, it sounds like a big job, having to replace floors on a car. Is there some welding involved in that? Okay, so anyhow, getting back to the Barbie movie, um, it's. I'll just say this: it's more than just girl power. It's not just the girl power movie. It is a thought-provoking movie, and I gotta say, as I was watching it, especially in the beginning, um, hey Sherry P, thanks for jumping in. Hot August nights are happening in Reno Sparks this week. Lots of classic cars. Yeah, the Hot August nights are pretty cool. I've been up there a couple of times. I mean, way long time ago for that. They've been doing that for years and years and years. But yeah, lots of great classic cars. One I guess says between welding rivets and self-tapping screws. So, where was I at? I was talking about Barbie. Oh yeah, it's very thought-provoking. But when when I was watching it, there was parts of it where I was just thinking, this is really stupid, really silly, stupid. But then I had to remind myself, hey, look, this is like a fantasy film. I mean, it's taking place in Barbie Land, right? Where the Barbies live in this other world. So, of course, you got to give that a lot of creative license, I guess, and a lot of suspension of disbelief and all that kind of stuff. And just have fun with it and just go with it. That's what I had to tell myself that. I had to remind myself that a couple of times. That it was, it was going to be kind of silly and kind of out there. But that doesn't take away from the message. Now, Kimchi is talking with one-eyed cat about the car here. So be careful, it only takes one spark. When I guess there's nothing breathable left in the car, down to just metal and stripped of all undercoating. So you got quite the project, and so you've been making a video on that, I guess, because you said earlier I'm working on the video for my channel. So that'd be cool. Check out that video. I will definitely look into that. Kimchi says, sounds like fun for you and a nightmare for me. So other than that, we've been going through a little bit of a break in the heat here in Vegas, which is great. And we didn't have it as bad as places like Phoenix and I think Texas had it worse than what we had. We we just went through about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks of every day about hitting over 110 degrees. Some days 114, 115, 116, and not having much relief at night, where it'd be 100 degrees all night, or the overnight low might go slightly under 100, and so that makes it kind of rough. I think Phoenix. I don't know if they've, because the monsoons have been coming through. I haven't checked their weather if they stopped that streak. They had a streak of over 30 days, 31, 32 days of 110 or more every single day. So they had that over a month. I know Texas was having just really a big heat dome, as they call it. Really going through some hot weather there. And of course, when they have heat, they also have usually some humidity. And of course, the closer you get to the Gulf Coast, of course, the more the humidity. So there certainly other places that have had it worse than we've had it here in Vegas. But nevertheless, this is where I live and this is what I know. And it was just getting, it just gets a little tiresome every day, 115 degrees. And overnight low, you're lucky if it goes under 100. It's usually, a lot of times it stays around 100 or whatever. So it's been really nice these last couple of days. We've actually had some rain. We've had some overcast weather. Like I say, today it's not supposed to even break 100 degrees, which is amazing for August 1st. I've been telling everybody that, like my passengers. For those of you who don't know, I've been driving Uber for the last 5 months now, I guess. When I tell my passengers, I mean, because a lot of people they're out of town and they've never been here before, and they're curious about the weather. And they're like, "Is it always like this?" Some people just think it's like that 365 days a year. They don't realize that we had snow here in the wintertime. And it gets chilly and cold and rainy and everything else. But I've been I've said a few times, just in conversation, like, well, just wait till August rolls around, because August is going to be even worse than July. Because usually that's how it goes. July is hot. We certainly have our share of 100-degree days and 100+ degree days. And then August usually bumps it up a little bit hotter. But now here it is, August 1st, and we're actually, this is the coolest day we've had in like about a month, I think. Or at least over 3 weeks. Because I think it was July, like I remember, I don't think we got our first 100-degree day. That was another thing. It took, I think, 10 months to get our first official 100-degree day. Now, sometimes you'll see around town at CVS or some store or something, we'll have a thermometer, temperature readout, and it might say 105, 100, or 103 or something. That's not the official weather. As far as when you're talking about records and temperature, record keeping and stuff like that. The National Weather System has wherever they set their gauges up, and so we didn't have an official 100-degree day. I forget now. It was either late June or it might not even have been until early July. I forget now what it was. But boy, once we got it, it came with a vengeance. Once we started getting the 100-degree days, and it was like I say, 115, 116. It was 112, 113, and the 100 in teens, over 110, almost just about every day, all the way until maybe yesterday. I think our high yesterday may have only been like 106 or something. If that, I'm not even sure. And like I say, our low got into the low 80s. Tonight we're supposed to get into the 70s, which would be awesome. And this is August. Now, as soon as this monsoon and some of these systems go out, it's gonna go right back up again. Probably in the next day or two, probably. So I'm not expecting that we're gonna have these cooler days all through August. It's gonna go back up again. So you just enjoy it while you got it. It was like when we were going through that streak of however many days it was, but it was roughly it was like 10 months, I guess. I think it was 10 months. So however many days that comes out to, between our last 100-degree day. I was just enjoying the fact for every single day that it didn't hit 100. I was just like, yeah, that the longer that goes, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And it's like now, so I'm just enjoying the day, enjoying the weather, while we got these cooler temperatures. You just kind of take it one day at a time, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the fact you get a little bit of a relief, a little bit of a break before the next heat wave comes. Kimchi says, it is a gorgeous and cool 81 in Virginia. Nice. Is it humid in VA? I guess if it's 81, I know the folks there, they get used to the humidity. I really don't like humidity. I remember when I was driving the truck and I would go back east or anywhere, parts of the south, southeast, even the Midwest, where it can get really humid, and I would step out of the truck, to go walk through a parking lot, like at a truck stop or something, and I'd be out and feel that humidity. And I'm like, ugh. One Cat says it's going to be pleasant all week, lower humidity until Thursday. One Cat, whereabouts are you? Are you what part of the country are you in? You don't have to give me exact locations. Some people are, trying to maintain their privacy, but or whatever. But Central PA. Oh, awesome. Okay, so you're out there. It's kind of almost East Coast there. Going to be pleasant. Lower humidity until Thursday. That's good. Get the lower humidity, so it just doesn't become stifling, But anyhow, so that's our weather. That's the weather report. We're high today of 96 degrees. Overnight low 76, which is amazing. And the Barbie movie, I'm going to give the Barbie movie a thumbs up. I ended up liking it. And I will admit, now I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe I'm like low T. I'm losing all my T as a testosterone or something. Because there was one point in the movie where I did get a little weepy eyed. I got a little weepy eyed. Yeah, at the Barbie movie, of all things. So I don't know what that's all about. I guess I'm just getting hormonal. I don't know. When I guess says mid 90s is hot here, but we seem to always get the high humidity when it does. Hey, Benny Loco! Listening and lurking from the high desert. Now I'm not going to give away your location, Benny Loco, exactly, because I know. Is that the high desert? I guess that is lifted up out of where you were at, which was the low desert. I used to go to school in Palm Desert, way back in the day, which is right next to Palm Springs, and that's the low desert. But out where you're at, I guess that is the high desert. Because I know I used to drive that back way sometimes through there, and then go out to Lucerne, and then go up into Apple Valley, and yeah, that's all high desert. Lucerne, Apple Valley, Victorville, that's the high desert. And I'm not going to say your town because, you know, it's high. Yeah, I guess the elevation goes up when you go through the little mountain pass there, and you're up in the high desert. And the high deserts usually are a little bit cooler than the low deserts. Sometimes it used to be about a 10-degree difference. Will be high. It's no matter where Benny Loco lives, it's the high desert. But I mean, like if it was 108 in the high desert, it would be 118 in the low desert. You know, it used to be about that difference, and I don't know if they've been getting closer together or not, temperature wise. And Benny goes, exactly 420, baby. It's got to be 420 somewhere, right? Yeah, maybe not because it's 6 minutes after the hour, but in about 12 minutes, or if I could do my math, 14 minutes, it'll be 420 somewhere probably, I would imagine. I don't even know. Who knows? But, you know, just kind of stay positive on that. But it was a definite 10-degree difference here from Palm Springs. Yeah, that's usually what it would be, about a 10-degree spread between the high desert and the low desert in the high temperatures and even the overnight lows and stuff. I know in the high desert, because I grew up in Victorville, I grew up in Apple Valley. We moved to Apple Valley when I was 3 years old, and then for some reason we kept moving back and forth between Victorville and Apple Valley. We did that move several times, and Benny Logo says that's why I stay high. And then we did a short little time, probably less than a year, or maybe about a year, up in Big Bear. And then there was a couple little stints in Fresno, which is way up in the Central Valley, where maybe about a year up there. But other than those 2 years, from when I was 3 until I was about 28, I lived in either Apple Valley or Victorville. Mainly I think more Apple Valley. I ended up graduating from high school in Apple Valley. And I went to like from ninth grade through high school and through college for my first year of JC. I was at Victor Valley College. So I know about the high desert. And the high desert, it used to be really nice where, you know, yeah, we would get our 108 degrees, 109 degrees, sometimes 110 or something. But it almost would always cool down at night into the 70s or, you know, low 80s or mid 70s or sometimes low 70s. So you can almost count on always getting a nice reprieve from the daily heat. Even if it got to be 109 or 110 or 111, we could still get down into the 80s. It was usually about a 30-degree drop. So if it was 110, then it would get down to 80, if I'm doing my math right. It would get down to lower 80s or whatever. Benito says we hit 117 in the past weeks, 90s at night. And that's unusual. I mean, for the high desert, and that's the way it's been getting here in Vegas too. These 117s, and then barely getting under 100 at night. And this is the high desert. Las Vegas is also the high desert. Kimchi says gotta go. Late for Randy's hugs. Oh yeah, Randy's on. I'm competing against Randy. Hey, thank you, Chi, for coming in, and have fun over there. Tell Randy I said hi. And Benito says, what climate change? Exactly. I mean, so we're definitely it's just changed since my lifetime of 62 years, but noticeably different than even just the early 2000s. I mean, it's really sort of exponentially, is that what it would be? It's really ratcheted up the global warming, where just really noticeable, I think, in the last 3 or 4 years, probably the difference between what I was always used to growing up in the high desert. Like I said, we would get you might get around, in July and August, it wouldn't be uncommon to be 109, 110 degrees, but it would almost always cool down to like upper 70s, lower 80s. If you had a day where it was only 100 or 105, it would definitely go down to 75 degrees at night. And now we're seeing more and more and more on the high desert, because that's the stuff that would happen in the low desert. Those type of temperatures were more like a low desert type of thing. Now we're getting to be more like the low desert, and the low desert is just turning into complete hell, probably, because you're seeing more and more. Because I lived in Palm Desert and for like a year when I went to college down there, and I remember if it hit 118, that was a hot day. I mean, that was like 118, 190. I don't remember ever seeing 120. Back, and this is back in the early 80s. I don't remember it breaking 120. I think the hottest I ever remember it was like 118 or 119 or something like that. And the overnight low would be 100. But now, even up here in Vegas, we've hit some 120-degree days. Not this, we haven't this year, but I think last year and the summer before that, I think there were a few days where we hit 120 and 122. And that's just uncalled. I mean, that was unheard of. That was really unheard of. Bendigo says, I've seen 120 in Wonder Valley and Amboy. Bendigo says, I've been here 10 years and have seen the change. Yeah, it's gotten hotter, and it's noticeably hotter. And so I guess hopefully we can make some changes in the way we, generate our energy. And hopefully it won't be too late. But I think it's not going to happen overnight. The change. So it might not. If we do start cooling down and getting back to more normal, it might not. I might not ever see it in my lifetime. But we do need to start reversing it. It's like a big giant cruise liner out in the ocean. It's not going to turn on a dime. If they got to make a turn, it's going to take a while to get that big old ship turned and around. And that's what we got to do. We got to get this big old ship to start turning around back to those little cooler temperatures, And I think we can do it. But probably, for a lot of people, I mean, God, people are dying. People are dying from heat, and the results of heat, of excessive heat, all over the world. People are dying in Europe. They're seeing temperatures like they've never seen before, and even in Asia, India, people are dying in massive numbers because of the heat. And at some point, it's going to reach that is going to reach, I guess, the right numbers of the masses of people. But finally, say, yeah, I guess this isn't just some fluky thing. This isn't just natural. That this is man-made. Because that's the argument. Is it man-made? Is this global warming man-made? And everything I've seen points to that. It all correlates as far as when you look at the Industrial Revolution and the increase in the levels of fossil fuels and the emissions, the toxins and things released into the atmosphere. You see that spikes up, and then right along parallel with it, you can see temperature rising. It's kind of low at first, but it's on the same kind of trajectory, and it all correlates. So I think if we can just bring down the fossil fuel burning, and I don't think we need to bring it down to zero. I think, we've reached sort of that tipping point where I think the Earth has just said, okay, that's enough, and it's only going to tolerate so much. But let's say whatever our fossil fuel usage is now, if we just dropped it in half, that would probably be humongous, a humongous difference. So I don't think we need to go. We don't have to not burn any fossil fuels at all. It doesn't have to go to zero. But what if it went down to 50, or what if it went down to 25%, or 30%, or 15%, or whatever? It doesn't have to be zero. Is my point. But there's things that we can do with the technology we have right now that bless my little soul. Oh boy. Well, I don't think it's too late, Vinny. I don't think we've reached the tipping point of where it's too late. Because then if we have, then why bother? Why bother doing anything? And I'm bothering. Let's see here. So, Benny goes to 60 years. Well, I too have witnessed it. 120 and okay, I said that. I read that. We better or we are toast. If you don't turn the ship enough, you crash. Right. Tipping point is too late. But thank you. If we don't do it now. Yeah, I know. We need to do it now. And we are getting more and more renewable energy into the grid, and we are getting more and more electric vehicles. And even if people want to say, well, electric vehicles, it causes pollution to make the electric vehicles. But studies have been done that show that over the long term, the electric vehicle is still much more efficient or much less polluting than a internal combustion engine, gas powered or diesel powered internal combustion engine. And just the fact, and I like to emphasize this, I don't think this gets emphasized enough. Just the fact that an electric vehicle doesn't have any tailpipe emissions, because there's no tailpipe, there's no emissions. That's huge. That cannot be understated. Just the fact of getting rid of all of those, let's just say hypothetically, you could replace all of the, say, passenger vehicles, not even talking about trucks and commercial trucks and stuff like that, but just all of the passenger vehicles that are out there on the road, millions and millions of them. And let's just say you could just magically turn those into EVs. You would be eliminating all of that tailpipe emission. And that's a pretty huge number, I think. That's a pretty huge deal. And we do have the technology to do that right now. Now, prices do need to come down more, I think, to make it more accessible to more and more people, to make those vehicles more and more accessible. And there's things like range anxiety. But the batteries are getting better. The range is getting better. The prices are coming down. And I think eventually, I don't mean like in 20 or 30 years from now. I mean in the next 2 or 3 years, I think you're going to see the EV share of the market is just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. As these vehicles get cheaper to own, to buy, and get and the technology improves, as the battery technology improves in terms of range, and things of this nature. It's just gonna keep getting better. Because I can remember not too long ago, 15, 20 years ago, and this is what the big auto manufacturers, GM, Ford, Chrysler, whatever, they were saying. I remember reading something that there was some sort of meeting between the big honchos, and this is like the early 2000s, I think, and they were saying how they had no interest whatsoever in developing EVs, because they had the GM had that EV1 car, and they pulled it. Hey, there's Jolie. There she is. But he goes, if somebody needs to do an electric car giveaway, like a lottery, get more of them out on the roads and in the minds of people. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. But then they pulled it, and GM and I think the other big three automotive manufacturers all had the same idea, had the same belief, and even Toyota or whatever, Volkswagen, none of them were interested in doing EVs because they said there was no market for it. Well, there was no market for it because no one was really making them. They said they had no interest whatsoever in pursuing vehicles like the EV1, which a lot of people love that car. They had it out for a couple of years. It was all they weren't selling them. They had people that were essentially, I think, just borrowing them or using them as sort of like test subjects. And then they ended up taking all the cars back and they destroyed all the cars, all those EV1s. But they had no interest whatsoever in developing and producing and selling electric vehicles. None whatsoever. And this is just like 20 years ago. And even 15 years ago. And probably even 10 years ago. And it wasn't until, and you can say what you want about Elon Musk, that he's a weirdo or he's a racist or whatever he is, and what he's done with Twitter and the shit that he comments about on Twitter. And you can say whatever you want, and a lot of it's probably true, and I probably would agree with you about a lot of it. But Elon Musk's goal, when he came out with the Roadster and started making the Tesla Roadster, his stated goal, I remember reading, was to eventually make cars for the masses. And he started off with the Roadster, which was a very expensive vehicle, and he knew it was very expensive, and he knew it was only a certain very small segment of the market was going to be able to buy that, the top 1%. Because this was a $200,000 vehicle or whatever it was. 150 or 200,000. But he made that car, and the money from that car he could put back into the company to develop eventually the Model S. Now I know Hal Sparks likes to put down Elon Musk and say that he only became successful or where he's at because of the government, because of Obama getting loans, and that certainly was a big boost. And he should feel very indebted and grateful for those. Elon Musk should, and Tesla should, because that did get them up to the next level. But prior to that, Elon Musk's stated goal was to make vehicles eventually that would be more and more affordable to the average person, and to make electric vehicles be the dominant vehicle to take over for ICE engines, internal combustion engines. That was his stated goal. And he did it one step at a time. First, it was the Roadster, very expensive vehicle, a very niche kind of market. Then it was the Model S, which was a really nice sedan. It came out with 3 different packages of battery, had different ranges, a 100-mile range, 200-mile range, 300-mile range, and each one was a little more expensive. And that was getting into the 80,000, 90,000, 100 and 110,000 range. Still, and this is like almost, what, 15 years ago or whatever, 10, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. That still was really high, above what the average person could afford. But it went from the Roadsters, which were like 200,000, now you're getting vehicles around 100,000. So now that market share, or that part of the market was more, right? And that brought in more and more money. And then he started, the next stage was to do Model 3. And that was a vehicle that was supposed to be, well, I think he said it was going to be around 39,000. And that's about what it is now. It's about a $40,000 car. And the Model Y, which is basically the Model 3, but just a little bigger, a little roomier, and it's about $7,000 more dollars, about 47,000, has become the best-selling, highest-selling car in the world right now, I think. Not just of EVs, I think of all cars. I think it passed Toyota. So yeah, he got, I guess, some government loans during, I guess it was during the Obama administration, but that wasn't, and that probably kept them going, maybe. I don't know. And I think that Elon Musk should remember that and not turn his back on what the government did for him, and not forget that was a Democratic president, Democratic administration that really boosted his company and probably made him the billionaire he is today. Because I can remember when he was not a billionaire and still making the cars, and then all of a sudden he became a billionaire, and it was just, I mean, that's the part where he owes, the government for really being able to boost the company and put it into a position where he could manufacture cars at such a faster rate and get more and more cars out there. But anyhow, I just like to give, as much of an asshole that Elon Musk can be, I like to give him credit where credit is due. His vision was to make EVs the car, electric vehicles, and get away from fossil fuels. And he put a lot of his stuff out there, a lot of open source stuff where he was, as far as like the Tesla engineering and the motors and everything else, he had it all where anyone could use it. Because he was saying he wants GM and Ford and all these other Toyota and whatever to use this technology. He put it out there for them to use. So anyhow, Benny Logo says oil companies have been quashing electric cars forever. Goes 100 years. Yeah, and now and all of a sudden, within the last 5 to 10 years, I've seen how Tesla has been rising, and now it's kind of dominating. And that's what it took. I guess that's what it took to see their market shares shrink a little bit for them to wake up to it. Benny says, I could care less if that money monster fell off of this rock yesterday. Benny says, yeah, see what the government did to Nikola Tesla, but the stroke money boys ego. Rod. Benny says, remember when a new home cost under $15,000? I do. Yeah, I do. In 1971. I mean, that's 50 years ago. But anyhow, so Jolie's here. I was talking about the Barbie movie earlier, and I kind of Jolie was asking me earlier what I thought about the Barbie movie. So since Jolie's here, hopefully Jolie's still here. Um, I would just say that I liked the movie. Um, at first, as I was watching it, there were a couple of points. There were just some silly gags, and that I thought were really stupid. But it didn't. It wasn't about the everything is going to up wages. Yeah, except for now under Joe Biden, the way wages are up finally after since Reagan, especially since 1980 and 82, early 80s, we were stagnant in wages, and uh, and now, thanks to Joe Biden's administration, wages are going up. Jolie says she's here. Okay, so back to the Barbie movie. I think I'll try. I'm going to try not to spoil it for you, but I'll just say that there were some really silly parts that I remember sitting in the theater thinking this is stupid, but I had to remind myself that this is like a fantasy movie in that it is involving a Barbie and living in Barbie world, in Barbie land. So you have to have some suspension of disbelief and all that kind of stuff, and just go with it. But this, and in all fairness, the parts that I was saying was stupid. Basically involved the Will Ferrell parts. Once you go see it, and I like Will Ferrell. I think he's a funny guy. I've liked some of his movies. He's usually pretty funny. And I don't think this is really his fault. This is just the way the script was, and I thought the Will Ferrell parts were really stupid and silly. Some of them. Jolie says I'm still trying to wrangle my kids together at the same time to go. My question is, when you go, are you guys going to be wearing pink? Because I've been seeing women and young women and girls, they're wearing pink like crazy, and it's all because of the Barbie movie. And last night when I went the show that just got out before I you see all the people come out, and all the girls and all the women were wearing pink. And then the show that I went into, all the women and all the girls were wearing pink. Jolie says, of course. So this is a pink movement. Apparently, and I've been seeing around town in Las Vegas, women wearing pink. And like at first I thought, because I saw these three young ladies in their 20s, probably in their 20s, mid 20s, all wearing pink dresses. And there are a lot of weddings that happen here in Las Vegas, and it might have been maybe it was a Barbie themed wedding, I don't know. But my first thought was, they probably were bridesmaids and they just got out of a wedding or were on their way to a wedding or something. Jolie says, I already have our shirts. Okay, you're ready to go. They're just waiting for you to go. But I don't know. And I've been seeing lots of pink wearing. But I have to say, I did like the movie. And I don't know if you heard me earlier, Jolie, but there was one point in the movie where I actually got weepy-eyed. I actually had some wet stuff coming out of my eyes. And I don't know if that's because I'm getting old and I have no more testosterone or what, but I got a little weepy-eyed. I'll just have to say it. I don't know why. There was something something that touched me and made me get kind of weepy-eyed. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But it was a good movie. Lots of women's point of view, of course. And as a guy, I think you just gotta sit there and take it and listen to it and learn from it and try to try to appreciate the woman's point of view and not scoff at it or anything like that. You just and it probably is a whole different experience for a guy and a gal. And Jolie says, just the power of Barbie. Yeah, the power of Barbie. And like I was saying earlier, this is more than just this is more than a girl power movie. This isn't just about girl power or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? This is about it is about equality, basically. I'll just leave it. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just leave it at that. But it was a good movie. I recommend it. The movie has gone bonkers, right? With I think it made $300 million or something the first week. It's number one at the box office, and it's launched the pink revolution. I liked it. I think you and your girls, Jolie, will enjoy it. Benny Loco says, I no longer adhere to the programming. Benny Loco will not be programmed. You will not program Benny Loco. I'm afraid to inform you, Benny Loco cannot be programmed. She's gone rogue. Benny Loco has gone rogue, ladies and gentlemen. Benny Loco, of course. I agree. Anyhow, I'm just wiping some little dust things off of my desk here. So I like the movie. I recommend it. And if you don't want to go, if people who don't want to go see it, don't go see it. Go see Oppenheimer. I was going to see Oppenheimer. Actually, when I went and I looked on the phone, and I thought it was a 10 o'clock showing for Barbie. And when I got there, you know how they have the show times up on the thing, and I didn't see the 10 o'clock for some reason. They had the 10 o'clock one in this middle panel all by itself, and for some reason I didn't see that. So I saw the sort of this left panel and this right panel with all the movies that were playing, and I didn't see a 10 o'clock showing. I saw 10:30 or 10:35. It was like 9. I got there, it was like 9:50 or something, and I was like, I don't want to wait till 10:35. So I was almost going to go see The Baker, because I saw there was a 10 o'clock showing of The Baker, and I had just seen like a TV ad for The Baker, and it stars Ron Perlman, you know, the guy who was the original Hellboy, right? Wasn't that? Oh no, was that Ron Perlman, right? And then of course Sons of Anarchy. And now he's got this movie where he apparently plays a baker who's like this. It looks like he's probably was in the mob, and maybe it was a mob guy or something. But he's playing this big tough guy. And this is talk about Barbie and girl power and feminism, and then toxic masculinity, right? I had. On this shoulder was Barbie, on this shoulder was the baker, and I was almost going to go. So I figured, I don't want to wait till 10:35 to see Barbie. I'll see Barbie on some other day, and I was going to see the baker, because it looked like it's just like this big macho movie where Ron Perlman is kicking everybody's ass and shooting people and all this kind of stuff, right? But then at the last second, I saw as I got closer to the line or something, I saw in the middle panel where it had the 10 o'clock one. I go, oh, she is on at 10 o'clock. So I went ahead and saw Barbie. But I would like to see Oppenheimer. I'd like to see Mission Impossible. I haven't seen that yet. And The Baker, maybe. And The Baker might suck. It might just totally suck, but that is kind of more my kind of a movie, full of was it toxic masculinity? That's more my thing. But Nicholas says, I've been programmed enough. Seems a lot of the regularly scheduled programming has gotten us where we are. Cool Frog, hey, Cool Frog, peace out. Or I guess. Thanks for just stopping by. Cool Frog. We were just talking about Barbie versus the Baker. I just sort of came up. And EVs, and we've been talking about EVs, and we've been talking about temperature. Oh, a lot of temperature. We had a lot of temperature talk. I don't know what it's like up there in the Dakotas, or Minnesota or the Dakotas, I forget now. No, you're in one of the Dakotas, right? I don't know what your guys' temperature's been like, but it's been really hot down here in Vegas. And we missed 4. Well, I have 12. I have 12. Oh, yeah, we did miss it. But like you say, Benny Loco, just stay high. I would have done an imaginary hit of some type of device, because I don't imbibe but I would have imaginarily done it. I would have been like 420, I know now it's, I don't know, you're like, nowadays it's like a little pipes or whatever, but in my day it was just a joint. Better late than never. That's my motto. I got that from my dad. My dad always told me, better late than never. Because one time, here's where that came from. I was about 9 years old, I guess. And there was this big, and this was one of the rare times I was actually in, I think it might have been Weeblos. It was either Cub Scouts or Weeblos. And they were having, or no, you know what? It wasn't Weeblos. It was a birthday party. But I think of the kids I knew, they were in Weeblos or Cub Scouts or whatever. And for some reason, we were late to this party. Like, really late. Like an hour late or something. And so I didn't want to go, even though this is one of my best friends and all my friends were going to be there. And, you're a little kid, you like to party, And, but my dad just said, hey, better late than never. And I don't know why, but for some reason, the way he said it, it just stuck with me all these years, and I still remember that when he goes, "Hey, better late than never," because I was like crying, and I'd be like, "No, it's not late. It's too late to go," and all this kind of stuff. And then as soon as he said that, it made me think about something like, you know what? He's right. Like, better late is better than never, because at least you get to go to some of the party, So. I dried off my little tears and put on my little sneakers and my little baseball hat at the time and got our little present that I was bringing, and we went over there and had a great time because the party still went on for like a couple more hours or whatever. So Dad was right. Better late than never. Yep. So thanks, Cool for being here. Better late than never. Benny Logo says, have you eaten a modern day edible? I have not. I have not had any type of marijuana, CBD, whether it's an edible or whether it's a tincture, whether it's smoking a joint, hitting a bong. I have not done any of that. Well, really any of that since probably the late 80s. And the only time I did smoke any weed, like I said a couple live streams ago, was in the early 90s. I guess it was around 93 or so, 94. After I had gotten divorced, and then I was rooming with a guy I was working with, and he was growing his own pot in the backyard. And the plants looked beautiful. I gotta tell you. And he would harvest his pot, and he always had a big giant, like a shoebox. Think of a shoebox, right? It's like this high and that big, completely full of weed that he dried the leaves and took all the snow stems and all that shit, right? And he was just like, he was just leaving on the coffee table. He says, "Hey, help yourself." And I remember, I would roll a joint, and I gave it a good shot. Let's just say I gave it a good college try. I tried to get high. That shit was the bunkiest bunk weed I've ever had. I don't even think I should count that as being a time when I smoked weed because I never got high off of it. And I was really always a kind of a lightweight going back to like high school and my 20s. Like I could just take like one hit off a joint and I was like high like that. I could just, I would just get high really quick and be goofy and just feel weird. I actually feel kind of weird, but this pot that this guy had, and this is like in, like I say, 93 or 94, it was homegrown and it was like horrible. It was just like it didn't get me high. So I don't know if I should even count that. I probably shouldn't even count it. But anyhow, so that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, I was a one-hit wonder. Yeah. Jolie says I went to a dispensary for the first time. For the first time, really? Where have you been buying your pot from? I thought you were buying at dispensaries. Benigo says, "Oh, but you got a guy. Yeah, I got a guy." Benigo says, "Yay, Jolie! Did you find anything fun?" And then Jolie says, "I got a bunch of carts and some gummies. My brother got some dabs." Okay, I don't know what carts are. I know what gummies are. I know those are like a gummy edible, right? And I'm not sure what a dab is. So that's how out of the loop I am. In my day, edibles were just pot brownies, and maybe sometimes they'd be pot cookies. That was about the extent of edible pot. Was just baking in some brownies. I had those a few times. Those were nice. Those were nice. But anyhow, I haven't done anything like that, and I'm just trying to think because like I got my CDL, my truck driver's license in 2004, and I never ever wanted to ever worry about a random drug test, and I never did have to worry because I would get pulled in sometimes 2 times in a year, sometimes once a year, sometimes a couple times a year. They would just pull you in. It's like a random thing, random drug test. And I never, ever, ever wanted to go in like worried if something was going to show up. And I never did have to because I didn't do anything. So that's probably where I'm going to keep it like that. Benigo says, Rand got busted smoking a cart on Sunday. They took it away and shook his room down. Wow. So a cart is like a cartridge, I guess, for like a vaping pen maybe, or a vaping thing. Is that what that is? I don't vape either. I really don't like any of that shit. I mean, I don't like, not that I don't like tobacco. I don't at all. And I don't really like smoking. If I was going to do anything, I probably would do some type of an edible. Because I don't really like smoking. And whenever I see people smoke and vape, I'm really kind of maybe a snob about it because I'm like, I do the thing because I think it's, I hate all that smoke. I think it's just gross and stupid. I hate, like when people are in their cars and their cars are all full of smoke and they open the window and a bunch of smoke comes out. I just find that disgusting. So that's where I am on that. Benigo goes, yes, a vape, like THC vape. And Joyce says, oh, wow. Benigo says, it helps with the pain. Yeah, I get all that. And the pain is chronic and horrid. And that's why I'm all for it. I'm all for it, especially people have chronic conditions. And I think it's a good way to deal with the pain. And so I don't have any problem with that. But there's a lot of people who aren't doing it for pain. They're just doing it. Well, I don't even care what they do. I just don't like the smoke. I don't really care. I really don't care that they're doing it. I just don't like when people are smoking and blowing smoke all over the place. That's what I don't like. I don't like the smoke. Okay? I hate the billows of smoke. I just find that to be weird and gross. Like, that people would live in an environment that they're just full of smoke all over the place. I hate smoke. So, that's my issue. I don't care about the pot part of it, the THC part of it, or whatever. Have all you want. I just hate the smoke. And I hate that people are always so like, oh, they get dependent on, like, I gotta take a smoke break. I hate that shit. Like the way it just can run your life, you know? Benny Logo says they should let him vape. They have a shed for cigarette smokers. Because it's not federally legal. It's not allowed. Oh, yeah. I adore smoke. Okay, all right, fine. You adore smoke. That's fine. That's great. I don't. Although I've been in plenty of bars that were smoky bars, and I didn't mind that then because I was trying to get some of that poontang, if you know what I mean. But the hospital, they should probably look the other way. You know what I mean? There is such a thing as turning a blind eye. I mean, I would if I was a male nurse or whatever, or a doctor. Or I don't think I would say anything, unless they're afraid of really getting in trouble or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's got to be some way around that. But yeah, if I did do any CBD or THC or whatever we're calling it these days, I just call it pot, weed. It would probably be like a gummy or something like that. Binoco says, yes, they should. So I made him a batch of gummies. Oh, well, there you go. Are they just as effective or whatever? I mean, is there a difference in the as far as the effect or whatever? So I'm just wondering why. I mean, if he prefers the vape over the gummy, and then why? You know, if you get the same effect, just pop in some gummies. Maybe that's harder because you had to make them. I mean, how do you make a gummy? I never heard of anyone just making a gummy. I wouldn't even know the first thing about how to make a gummy. I wouldn't know. So, anywho, Binoco said edibles are more effective than smoking. He quit cigarettes, so he smokes joints instead. So I guess he's just used to smoking. This is me smoking. I was never really a smoker. I tried it a few times, like even in elementary school and in junior high and in high school, even in college. Yeah, I would smoke every now and then, but I never liked it. I bet you in my entire life, how many cigarettes come in like a pack? Is it 20 or 10, 20? I bet you I may have smoked the equivalent of probably less than 2 packs of cigarettes in my whole lifetime. And I never liked it. I only did it because I was just, first of all, as a kid, of course, you want to try stuff. and you see other kids smoking and other people smoking. My dad used to smoke before he got cancer in 1970. He was still a young man. He was only like 28 years old or something. He got cancer, and he quit smoking like that. And he had been smoking, a regular smoker, since he was a teenager, probably, or in high school or whatever. And then he got cancer around 69 or 70. Well, actually, he was probably 30 then. I guess he was 30. And as soon as he got diagnosed with cancer, he quit smoking. Like, boom. No fucking, like, it was just cold turkey. He just, boom, did it. And he never smoked again after that. Looks like we're kind of buffering there. Hopefully we're coming back. Are we back? Oh, 20 in a pack. So I'm sure I haven't smoked more than 2 packs in my entire lifetime. But so I remember trying it in like 4th or 5th grade, and I was in charge of the pack. I'm back. Yeah, I guess it went out for a few seconds there. But I didn't really like it. And then I think, again, in junior high, kids are smoking and people are smoking. And so I tried it, didn't like it. High school, again, when I started partying, drinking, and I would smoke weed. I would smoke weed because I like getting high. But then sometimes I would try cigarettes, and I just didn't like it. I never liked it. Never really liked it. So only times I tried it was, I guess I was trying to be cool or something, or trying to fit in or whatever. But thank God it didn't stick, because I think cigarette smoking is just horrible. Because I started smoking when I was 16. Yeah, I'm just not into it. And I've never understood it, because I didn't get addicted to it. I've heard that they say that nicotine apparently is just as addictive as heroin. That's the old thing that we've always heard, right? And for some reason, and all those 20 or 30 or 40 cigarettes that I smoked, or at least I don't even think I smoked the entire cigarette on most of those, it didn't catch. I didn't get addicted. Thank God. Jolie says, I smoked for 30 years, quit smoking 3 years ago. I still miss it. I loved smoking. Yeah, some people they love it. Benny Loco says, my mom smoked and dad smoked. All the relatives smoked, so I smoked a lot. Benny Loco says, that's true. Medically proven. That's 100% true. So I probably do heroin and not get addicted, because I didn't get addicted to cigarettes. My mom didn't smoke, so that was good. She didn't smoke. And then, like I said, my dad, when he got cancer at 30, quit like that. And when he was 30, I was like, how old was I? 10 or something? Actually, because, I guess he was 31 or 32 or something like that. And still young, I think, for someone to get, like, this serious cancer. And so basically, though, for about the first 10 years of my life, I saw my dad smoking. And but fortunately, it wasn't enough of a thing where like it influenced me or to be a smoker. Although I did try it. Like I said, I tried it. I still try it, because I guess, people feel like they got to try stuff, And so I did try it. Benito says, good on you, Jolie. So yeah, I'm glad you quit. it just isn't healthy. And I know we all do things that are unhealthy, you know, but I just never saw a benefit from it, from smoking. But I know a lot of people like it. They say it relaxes them, or it's just that moment of like taking a break and being able to just relax and chill out or whatever, I guess. But look at my poison of choice. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But I don't do it. And I really don't do anything. I mean, I used to drink. I was a partier. I wasn't like a. I was never an alcoholic. I was never anything like that. But I would go and party my ass off. And I think I abused alcohol, quite honestly. But I was never an alcoholic. And basically, for the last, I don't know, 30 years, I really hardly ever drink. And when I do, I just drink because I just feel like having a beer or a drink. Very rarely in the last 30 years have I actually got like drunk, maybe like 2 or 3 times, I think. So I guess that would be my poison of choice. So it would be, I guess, alcohol. But I don't know. I just don't even do any of that stuff that much. I guess I'm just vanilla. I'm just a boring vanilla guy, I guess. I don't know. But so anyhow, hey, I hope that answered your questions about Barbie, Jolie. As far as I liked it. I don't want to give you any spoilers. But it was a good movie. It's worth seeing. Benilgo says, getting Rand's clean clothes and lunch together to bring to. Don't forget the coffee, Benilgo. All right, Benilgo. Get that stuff. Get it on over there. And don't forget the coffee. Are you bringing your own coffee from home, or are you going to stop at like Starbucks or something like that? Just wondering. Just wondering. I like coffee too. I usually just like to kind of start my day off with a cup of coffee. And very rarely do I drink it after that. Like, I have it with my breakfast. And very rarely, occasionally, like when I was driving a truck, occasionally I would have a coffee if I was driving late or something like that. But usually not. I usually didn't need it. So there were a few times when I would drink the 5-hour energy, but that was very rare also. Probably on average less than one time a year I would do that. But every now and then I would drink a 5-hour energy, and that really gives you a nice little boost. But he'll go home coffee. He likes it the best. Okay. Yeah, home coffee is probably better than Starbucks. I really don't like Starbucks. I mean, as far as the regular coffee, I really have to doctor it up. I can't just drink it black. So because to me, that's the sign of whether it's a good coffee or not. If you can drink it black, then it's good. If you got to doctor it up, then it's probably not good. And with Starbucks, I always have to doctor up the coffee. So take that for what you may. Take that for what it is. And my daughter works at Starbucks. So I probably shouldn't be you know, saying bad things about the company that she works for. I like their other drinks though. You know, their fancy schmancy frappuccinos and mocha frappuccinos and all that kind of shit. And the caramel, not latte, but I like the frappuccinos. And sometimes iced tea or something like that, or even iced coffee. But it has to have cream. I can't just drink it straight. So there you go. I gotta. If you put lots of cream and sugar in it, I guess I like it. But if it's just black, I don't like it. But if I'm in a good diner that makes good, I think just use like Folgers or whatever, and that's good because I can drink it black. I can drink the diner coffee black all day long, you know. But not Starbucks. Sorry, Starbucks. It's got to be, you know, it's got to be doctored up. Anyhow, we got 9 thumbs ups. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. I was looking at the analytics the other day. Actually, this morning I think it was. And I saw that there are people that are actually hitting the share button because there was quite a few shares. So that's cool. So thanks for hitting the share button. Appreciate it. And let's get those subscriptions up. We're at 656. Trying to get to 6 million, so we got to step it up here, folks. I'm just kidding about the 6 million. Because that's just how I roll. That's how I roll, man. Sharing is caring. That's right. Hit that share button. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that notification button. Whatever. But anyhow, so what else is going on? So we've been talking about Barbie. We've been talking about weather. We've been talking about edibles, EVs. We talked about EVs. What else? What else are we going to talk about today? What else is going on? What's going on with y'all? With y'all? What is going down? Is anything going down? Down, down, down. I'm just gonna sit here and I was just looking at I was taking a look at that notification button to see how it works. You can go all, you can go personalized, or you can go none, or you can unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe. Sometimes it happens. I'll look at the number and it goes down. I'm like, what the heck? What have I done now? Benny Logo says, I'm being trolled by SJ. Really? It's so funny. I guess I still subscribe to him because it pops up in my feed. And I really have no desire to even go over there. I guess it was a couple weeks ago. I was checking it out. And I'm just tired of his shtick. He's kind of obnoxious. So I don't even go over there anymore. I should probably unsubscribe because I see it pop up and I'm like, oh, there's that guy. So he jumped the shark. Yeah, big time. I have a feeling he's the kind of guy that wears out his welcome. I think he did it over there. You know what I'm talking about? When he was over there, and then when he was over at the other place. If you know what I mean. I think he wears out his welcome. So, whatever. Well, that sucks that you're being trolled because, But he says, yep. But Ojeda still likes him, it seems like. They're buddies, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know? Joy says, I get it and I agree. Yeah. But anyhow, I don't need to just sit here and slam other people, I guess. I gotta get the water. The coffee, I think the coffee dehydrated me. I had one cup of coffee and I feel, or maybe it's all the talk about pot and weed. I feel like I have cotton mouth now. Is that still a thing? Because I remember it used to be a thing. You would get cotton mouth, right? Do people still get cotton mouth? Because everyone's telling me how today's weed is not your grandfather's weed. You know what I mean? So, do people still get cotton mouth? That's why I would always have a beer with me. Benny Loco says, I'm not sure Ojeda will be doing his show again. And I'm not slamming any. I know. You asked, I know. I didn't mean that. I just meant that, like, because I started going down that road. I know it wasn't you, Benny Loco, but I was the one that was starting to go down that road. So yeah, I didn't direct it at you. Jolie says, I have it right now. You have cotton mouth? Well, go get you some water. Benny Loco says, it's all cannabis to me. And yes, cotton mouth is one of its horrible side effects. But thank God for water. Because it gets you hydrated. Keeps you hydrated. And I guess, hopefully it does. Against, marijuana. I hand these out when I'm driving my Uber. So I always buy water, keep them in the car when I'm driving. And people love them. People love them. They can't get enough of them. Free water. Especially when you're on the strip and a bottle of water like this at some of these hotel, casino, convenience, little convenience stores that are in the casinos. This would probably be like $5 or something for this water that I bought at Smith's. I bought a big pack of 40 something for $5, so people are only too happy to get a free bottle of water. When Uber John picks you up, you get a free bottle of water. That's a good deal on the strip because, like I said, these things probably go for about $5 in the hotels. And I'm not talking about inside the room where they have like probably $15 bottles. I'm talking about down in the store, the little convenience stores that are in the hotels. Now you can walk on the strip. They have like CVS and they've got Target and they've got Walgreens and places like that, and you can get water for pretty reasonable priced. So I suggest if you're on the strip and you need water, and you do when it's 115 degrees out, don't buy it if you can get out to CVS or Target or Walgreens, buy your water there, or get a ride with me and you'll get a free one. Anyhow, Benny Logo says it's all cannabis to me, and yes, cotton. Oh, I already read that. Benny Logo says if not for water, we would cease to be. Poof. Benny Logo says be kind to your customers; they'll be kind to you. For the most part, yes. For the most part, I would say that's true. I had this one guy in the other day. I actually, because I give everyone 5 stars. But I give this guy 4 stars. Just because he was just a bit of an asshole. I just didn't like him. I didn't like his attitude. I didn't like the way he talked to me, his tone of voice. So I just kept my cool, and I just said, "Fool, you're getting 4 stars. You ain't getting no 5 stars." I said that to myself. So I kept my cool. I let him talk in his fucking rude, disrespectful kind of way that he was talking. And I just said, "John, be cool. You hit him on the stars." So I gave him 4 stars. And I was counting down because I was like, if he keeps going, I'm going to go down to 3. And if he keeps going, I'm going to, And then when we almost got there, he kind of was lightening up a little bit. And I'm like, I might go to 5. Should I go back to 5? And I'm like, nah, don't go to 5. So I still gave him the 4 stars. And I've only given, I think, out of over, how many rides have I done now? 3,000 rides or whatever. I think I've only given 2, maybe 3 people 4 stars instead of 5 stars. Everybody else got 5 stars. So, there's that. But yeah, I always try to keep cold water, or at least it starts off cold. I don't leave it out there in the fucking 115 degree heat. It's always in the fridge, refrigerated. When I go out, I put it in the car, and then the AC keeps it pretty nice and cold. And in the middle console, I can put like 4 of these in there. And that middle console, that's right where the air conditioning duct goes for the back seat. So it's actually kind of almost like a little cooler. So it'll keep these nice and cool. So I put water in all the little cup holders in the side panel of the doors. So there's that, and then I have like 3 or 4 more of these in the middle console. So that's what I do, especially when it's hot like this. When it was cooler, people weren't taking them as much. But now, since it's been really hot, yeah, they take them. Because they've been out sitting in the waiting for an Uber out in the hot heat. And it gets really hot. And people are walking. They're walking all over the place. And they're getting thirsty. So a nice little bottle of cool water, I think, is a nice touch. And it's, it is, what do you call it? It's like a nice thing to do. I tried to give one to a homeless guy the other day. There was a homeless guy, you know how homeless people will sometimes be like in the median of the street and with a sign. And so I rolled down my window, and the guy was sitting in his chair with a sign. But it was hot. It was like 112 degrees out or something. So I reached into my console and I rolled my window down. I go, "Hey, you want a water?" And I don't know if he understood me. Maybe this is why he's homeless. Because there might have been some mental issues or something. Because then he just held up, he had a bottle of water, and it was like almost empty, and it was probably hot, and he just was saying "I got one too" or something like that. I don't know. It was weird. I go, "Do you want this?" And I wasn't. I was like a lane removed from him. I wasn't like right next to him. If I had been maybe in the lane that was like right next to him, I might have just dropped it on the ground and said, "Here," But since I was like a lane removed and there was no car there, there was a lane between us, I didn't want to just throw it at him or something, So I ended up not even giving it to him because the guy was just like, I go, do you need some water? Do you need some water? And he was going like he didn't understand me or didn't hear me or something. I don't know. It was weird. So then the light turned green. And I go, "Okay, whatever. I guess you got your little thing of water that he had like that much water in his bottle. And then I was just thinking, so I don't know if the guy misunderstood me or had some sort of mental disability that he couldn't understand what I was saying, or he was just mocking me, maybe. Just like, fuck you, asshole. I want money, not water. I don't know. So I was trying to do the right thing. I mean, I was trying to give the guy some water, you know. But for some reason, there was some sort of a disconnect there. There was some sort of a communication disconnect. Communication breakdown. Communication breakdown. We had a communication breakdown, I believe. I believe that's what you call it. A communication breakdown. Yep. I don't know. Lots of homeless people here in Las Vegas. Lots of homeless people. And it's sad to see. I just don't know what we can do about it. I mean, there's lots of things we can do about it, but as far as like, I think there's a lot of mental health issues. Of course, there's lots of economic issues. There's educational issues, job training issues. All these things that I think lead to homelessness, and we need to address those. I believe it's really easy just to go, oh, they're just too lazy to work. They bring us on themselves. I don't know. Maybe there are some that are too lazy to work. Maybe there are some that did bring it on themselves. I don't know. But I don't think it was. I don't think all of them. I mean, there's probably a whole vast, things of reasons why people are homeless. There's lots of different reasons. It's not just one thing. Benny Loco says, getting in the car and heading out. Thank you for streaming, John. I'll take a dab for you. Hugs, Jolie. All right, yeah, take a dab for me. I still don't know what a dab is. Just a dab will do you, I guess. Yeah, but thanks for watching and listening, and appreciate you being in here, Benny Loco. Send our best to Rand over there, and sneak him in some gummies. And we'll see you on the next one. We'll see you in one of the chats, I'm sure. Benny Loco says, I guess smoke, laugh and smoke, and green heart, peace, and love or hugs or something. I'm not good at emojis. I'm still trying to learn it all. But anyhow, thanks for being here, Benny Loco. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Well, now we're in the afternoon. And we missed 420 again. At least I did. Even though it would be 1320. The real 420 would be coming up in 57 minutes. 57-minute countdown is what that is to 420 here in California. Yeah. Here in California, I'm in Nevada. See, I still think, look, I was born and raised and lived the first 59 years of my life in California. So I still think I think of myself as a Californian. And Las Vegas is only about 2.5 hours drive from where I grew up from. So, and we've been coming up here. I've been coming up to Vegas since I was a little kid. So to me, Las Vegas really isn't. I don't really even think of this as being Nevada, or it doesn't even seem like a different state to me. Like sometimes when I was driving a truck, or even just traveling, you can go to another state and it almost feels like you're in a different country. But when I come to Nevada, especially Las Vegas and Clark County, it just feels like California to me. So, anyhow, I said California. I'm in Nevada. Joyce says it's 4:20 here all day. I think the clock is stuck. Yeah, it must be stuck. It's 4:20. That's kind of what Biloka was saying too. Like it's 4:20 all the time or something. You guys in your 4:20. You guys. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. You. In case you didn't know, that was my Bill Murray impression. Boom. Yeah. I used to try to do that. Let's see, I haven't done it in a while. Like Caddyshack. Like, and he was like, what was he like? Carl, the landscaper guy, whatever his name was, and he's like, "Oh yeah, oh Mrs. Green." I don't know, it cracked me up. Bill Murray cracks me up. He's like, "Yeah." What was the one? He was like, "So," he's like, I can't remember what leads up to the part where he goes, "So yeah, I got that going for me." He's talking about the was it Dalai Lama or something? He's giving him this advice. He's like, yeah, so I got that for me, going for me. And then there's like when he's doing like he's pretending like he's golfing in the what's the big golf tournament they do? Get the green jacket. I'm losing my brain. My brains are going. I'm losing my brains, everybody. I can't remember, but he's like, it's a miracle. I can't believe it. Man, God, it's been so. I'm gonna have to watch that movie now. It's been so long since I watched Caddyshack. Like, it's a no. It's a miracle. I can't believe it. So anyhow, that's Bill Murray. I actually, I never did. I was never able to utilize it, but I was going out, and this is like in the early '90s. I was going out for some auditions for acting roles and stuff, and they always say you should have a monologue that you've memorized, something from a movie, a monologue. And I don't remember it now, but I have memorized the scene in Stripes when it's like the night before their graduation, and they have to perform this marching thing, right? And they have to show that they're like this well-oiled unit or whatever, and they have to do all this stuff. And so they're in this kind of warehouse hangar type of thing, and then Bill Murray does this big speech, and I can't remember it now, but I used to have that memorized. In case I needed to use that monologue. I use that as a monologue. And I can't remember it now. It's just, I need to look that up and redo it because it's pretty funny, I think. It's like, you guys, whatever. I'll do that someday. Maybe I'll do that in the next one. I'll try to memorize or try to get that monologue. I'll do the Bill Murray speech on Stripes when he's getting the unit together, to practice, It's like an overnight cram session that they're doing so they can present arms to the general, I was a big Bill Murray fan back in the day. I still am, but hasn't done much lately. Oh. What's the last thing Bill Murray did? It's been a while since I've seen a Bill Murray movie. But yeah, Stripes, Ghostbusters. Those are like movies I really liked. Caddyshack, you know. Julie says, I love Bill Murray. Me too. Let's see. I'm trying to remember that monologue, and I can't remember it. I can't remember where it starts. Like, he was always like, well, I always do the thing, even though he only really did that in Caddyshack. You know. Just, what about Bob is one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, that was a good movie. With Richard Dreyfuss, I think, right? Wasn't that Richard Dreyfuss? Yeah. Wow. I just heard somebody like fell down or something in the unit above me. So let's see here. It's still only 93 degrees, which is amazing. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's only, according to my watch, it's only 93 degrees. It hasn't been that cool since June. Since June. Here we are in August now, so that's awesome. I don't know. I think we might be having a couple days of this, maybe, or at least another day. So I'm just gonna enjoy it and relish it as much as I can. And then I guess just be ready for the next heat wave, because it's coming. It's a coming. So just gotta enjoy the cooler weather while it's here, you know. And it's not so hot when I get in the car, because it's been so hot during the day that by the time I go out there, it's already 100, you know, it's been like 112, 114 degrees, and then the car is just so boiling hot. But when it's this under 100, it's not so bad, you know. Just the little things, you know, it's the little things. But okay, I guess we've been here 2 hours. I've been here for 2 hours. Had a lovely chat with y'all. We had some good folks in here today. I want to thank everybody. Benny Loco, thanks for coming by. We had Kimchi was in here, and One-Eyed Cat, and Cool Frog. Thanks so much. We had a couple people I don't remember seeing before, or there was. Let me scroll on back. We had Sherry P. I don't remember seeing Sherry P here before. So, thank you for being here. Thank you, Jolie, for being here and moderating. And I hope you and your girls can go see the movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. Wear your pink. You got your pink shirts all ready to go. And just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And see you Thursday. I'll be back Thursday sometime. I originally would do the show at 9 in the morning. It's been later and later and later and later. And I've gotten into this bad habit now. I think it's a bad habit because I don't like it, where I go to sleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning now. Like last night, even though I didn't Uber, and I got home at because I went and charged the car after the movie. I got home, it was like 1:15 or something in the morning. And then instead of just going right to sleep, I ended up I was playing my game on my phone and on my iPad. And I was watching this shark show on TV. And next thing I knew, it was like 4 in the morning. I'm like, shit, I need to go to sleep. So anyhow, I don't like that. But so I'm trying to get to bed earlier so I can get the show started a little bit earlier. But I do appreciate everyone being here. And I'll see you guys Thursday. Make sure you look for me. Put your notification button on so you'll know when I'm on. And like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys. There I am, putting my arm up. That's the thing where I push the button, the X, to end the show. That's when you see my arm going up. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you. You're welcome, Jolie. I'll see you Thursday for sure. I'll see you in the chat rooms around where we hang out in the chat rooms. Alrighty, bye-bye.